I can hear you. Hello, my name is Ms. Nermin Diab. I am an English teacher for Egyptian students. I am located in Egypt, and most of my students are either Egyptian or Arab students or Arab-speaking students. I've been teaching for almost 10 years now, and teaching is one of the things that I enjoy. I don't take it as a job, but I take it as an opportunity to share experience um, and pass on experience to other people.
Absolutely.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Padmaja. I'm an 8th grader. How are you, ma'am?
How are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, ma'am. I'm fine. Thank you. Ma'am, I would like to ask you a question. Can I ask, ma'am?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
What professional development opportunities have been beneficial to you as an English teacher?
Thank you so much, Badma, for your question. Professional opportunities, I would say the recent one. Oh, here we are. The recent one would be a training I recently got on AI, artificial intelligence, how to use ChatGPT to help us teachers make the best out of our teaching experience. And I would say it's really useful to incorporate or to combine AI to our education overall as a teacher or as a student. So I would say this was one of the recent professional trainings that I got recently.
What advice would you give to new English teachers starting their career?
That's a good question. Thank you so much. I would say, first off, if you really love teaching, go for it. If teaching as a job is not something that you really care about or interested in, I would say avoid the job because there is a lot of mental load and difficulties when you become a teacher. But at the same time, the rewards in the end are very great. So I would say if you love teaching, become a teacher. Try to have or try to ask your older teachers to help you. Try to ask your colleagues at work to help you. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to read. I would say also to take risks and to take care of your students and understand that you are passing knowledge. It's like a generation giving knowledge to another generation. So it's very good. It's very great.
Thank you.
Hello, hi, nice to meet you.
I'm fine, ma'am. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. I'm good. Nice to meet you. How are you?
My name is Namata, an 8th grader from ZPH School, Ailavaram. I'm so excited to interact with you. I would like to ask you a question, ma'am. Can I ask?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
What kind of schools are popular in Egypt, public or private?
It used to be public, but recently private schools are getting more popular among parents and students in Egypt here because they focus more on learning languages. They focus more on teaching life skills. So I would say recently private schools are getting more popular. In the past 10, 20 years ago, it was public schools.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Gayatri Salvi. I am studying 7th grade. Can I ask one question, ma'am?
Hello, nice to meet you. Yes, of course, go ahead.
What techniques do you use to keep students motivated and interested in learning English?
Oh, there are plenty of ways, but my favorite way, to be honest, is games. because I enjoy games. Used to be a little bit of a board student, so I remember whenever we had a game, it was really interesting and fun for me. So I try to join games or mix games with learning. So this is one way to motivate students. Another thing is making sure that every student in my class is seen. So no one is neglected or sitting in a corner. I make sure that everyone is seen or being seen in my class, even if they are naturally quiet, even if they are shy. The most important thing is they must feel that the teacher sees them and the teacher sees them in a good way. That way they would feel motivated to learn and have the comfortable environment to learn.
Thank you so much. I mean, it looks like your students love your teaching so much because you involve your students in different games and you move friendly with your students and you maintain a good rapport with your students. So all these factors make your students so favorite, I think, when it comes to your teaching. So what are the topics, the grammar topics that you would like to teach involving your students in a playful method? I mean, joyful way.
There is a part of grammar, I think, reported speech. I don't know if your students, I don't know if your students learn it now, but reported speech is one of my favorite lessons because although, yeah, it's a bit difficult as a grammar rule, but when you put it in a certain way, it can be absolutely fun. So one way I do is, for example, let's say I am having a class and my colleague is having a class at the same time, similar level, close to levels. So one of the things that I tried multiple times was sending my students with a set of questions to the other class, and I wanted them to note down the answers to these questions. So for example, I sent a student to my other class to ask, what did you do yesterday? Okay. And the students will take the code directly and they start reporting it. They will start reporting it to the other students in the class. So this is one way of practicing reported speech. It's fun, it's engaging. Another one would be playing spelling games. This is one of my favorites. Hangman and some spelling bees, charades, writing a word on the board and making someone stand or sit in front of it, but their back is facing the board. So for example, I put a chair. Sorry?
One student actually not muted her microphone. That's the disturbance here. Okay, please.
Oh,
please,
that's okay.
Please go ahead.
So for example, you put a chair in the middle of the class. I write something, a word on the board, and the rest of the class or the team can describe this word in English, fully in English, no mimication, no using hands or pointing or using any other language. So this is a fun, engaging way to practice speaking and also to practice whatever vocabulary that they might be struggling with. I enjoy games so much.
Yeah, Nirmin, I think I have to draw inspiration from you because most of the teachers here in this part of India, they teach the English grammar traditionally. They don't use the innovative and updated methods. For me, I have made a few teaching aids to teach, especially to teach the tenses, to teach active and passive voice, to teach the reported speech. I have made a few innovative teaching aids, and I will share you that information a little later, so that you can also do it maybe in your classroom. And one of the interesting facts that you have shared that sending the students to the next class, asking them some questions, and the same question they are going to report it. That's very interesting. I think I love that. Maybe I can practice it at my classroom, maybe within few days from now.
It's a great idea. I love it. I think I learned it from a fellow experienced teacher, and then I started adding more to the game and innovating a little bit into it. It's interesting because it's language is about communication. So let's them communicate.
Definitely, the students actually they love the teacher who tries to do the lot of experiments, lot of innovations. So I must say that your teacher, like your students, actually likes you so much. What about any innovative ideas in teaching the tenses topic?
I would say take the tenses as experiences instead of the traditional way that you're describing. Like I can easily put the grammar rules on the board or the screen, and the students would, okay, here is the grammar rule, here is how to use it. Put it in something engaging. So if it's simple past, for example, tell me about your day yesterday or last week. Tell me about a time where you had fun with your family. Tell me about a trip you took last year or last summer. So incorporating or mixing this this grammar point into people's lives is the most beneficial for me. Games, in a way, games and personal experience also come in the way. So afterwards, okay, let's have a debate on who had the best summer, or a competition on who did this. Did you do all of your daily routines, or did you brush your teeth last night? And it becomes more of engaging competition instead of just, here is the grammar, here are the rules, go ahead, good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing a lot of valuable insights in teaching the English grammar. And here is one more question. I think one student is going to ask. Krishna, over to you.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Krishna. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, ma'am. This is Krishna, 8th grader from ZPHS School, Ailavaram. I would like to ask a question, ma'am.
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Could you please explain your innovative way of teaching English to your students?
An innovative way to teach English to my students. Besides games and sharing experience, I would say using current trends and social media to help my students learn. So, for example, someone like a soccer player or a football player is famous. So how about you prepare a presentation about your favorite player or your favorite cartoon or your favorite figure or role model? So I wouldn't say it's the most innovative, but for me, it has been the most effective.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. I'd like to ask you, could you please throw some light on Egyptian culture and traditions?
Yes, absolutely. Egypt is very versatile. It's very full of cultures and ideas because we borrowed a lot of things from Turkey. We borrowed a lot of things from French people. Yes, when the Turkish people were here, we borrowed a lot of things from them. As for example, food, we share a lot of food with Turkey and Greece. Cheese, for example, feta cheese is one way. We have our own mix of pasta, as in food. We call it koshari. It's really fun. It's rice and pasta. I think I'm gonna write it in the chat box. It's our most famous food here. Yeah, I send it in the chat box. Okay. As for how people dress, everyone dress differently depending on their religious background and their where they live. So, for example, we have part of Egypt is called Nuba, Aswan, where people dress in a certain way. They are closer to the ancient Egyptian people that we know of. They still keep the traditional jewelry making. They still keep somehow the stitching or the designs of the clothes. The houses they have are closer to some of the houses that were written about in temples, in ancient Egyptian temples. Their language also is a bit closer to what we call hieroglyphic, hieroglyphic language, which is Nubian language. It's not Arabic. It's more of an ancient Egyptian language, close to the ancient Egyptian people. Another part of Egypt, if you go closer to, for example, to the north, okay, this area, people are close in behavior and in nature to Greece and Turkey and how they dress. Most people dress modestly and modernly, but most of the time it's always very colorful. As you can see, for example, my scarf here, people love colors. It's a very colorful area here or designs.
Yes, thank you so much, Nermin. And here I have a question. Being an English teacher working in a public school, I am curious to know the retirement age in Egypt. What age the teachers or the public servants they get retired from the services?
Well, logically, most people retire at the age of 60 years old, the normal, but teachers and professors in Egypt don't really retire because they not officially retire. They can retire in a way, but they are still they still make use of their knowledge in a way. They still teach if they are able to teach. They supervise, for example. So our older teachers don't really fully retire. They either become experts in exams making, or they become supervisors, or they help or guide new teachers, but they don't fully retire as in a way of retiring, except maybe for public schools. I would say they retire after 60, but there is always a door open for them to go back and teach or guide if it needs to.
Okay, thank you so much. In our history books, we happen to study about the Nile River that runs across your city, Egypt capital Cairo. Could you please tell us about the River Nile? How River Nile is linked with the history of Egyptian civilization?
Oh, wow. Yes. Imagine this. You wake up and you feel hungry or thirsty and you drink water. Okay. Nile River is the water of ancient Egypt. People gathered, they formed civilization around it. They would go closer to it. They even thought that the flooding of the water in certain seasons was or something that came from gods. So they worshipped in a way. They put the river in a place of worship. There is a bit of a sad story here, but there used to be a tradition in ancient Egypt where they would give away or sacrifice the most beautiful girl in the country to the river as a way of gratitude. We are thanking you for the flood and for the farms, the water that you are filling our farms with. So that tradition stopped after a while, thankfully, but it was interesting because they really appreciated the Nile River. It's not just a place of water that can provide. No, the ancient Egyptians really had a strong connection with nature and the river because it was source of life, like our water when we drink.
Thank you so much. This is how we greet the people. Namaste. Namaste.
Okay, I'm holding my phone now, but I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
we can
namaste.
say Namaste. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I would-
namaste. Yeah. How do you greet in Egyptian culture?
I would say, for example, if it's a woman to woman, we usually hug and kiss the cheeks. If it's man to man, it's usually a shake of hands. Sometimes it's also like a small like push of hands, like high five or a feast or something like that. But most of the time in our culture, hugs are very important. Warm hugs, kisses on the cheeks, saying hello that way. Sometimes if you are, for example, I'm greeting someone, let's say a guy or something, I could put my hand like this. Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. And this mark means you are here. You guys, you are in my heart, and I greet you, and I put my hand on my heart to tell you you are part of it, and it's really nice.
Okay, that's great. And here I would like to teach you one phrase in my region. So in English, how are you? How do you do? And in our region and in our Telugu, we say that మీరు ఎలా ఉన్నారు? మీరు ఎలా ఉన్నారు?
Merialau?
మీరు ఎలా ఉన్నారు?
Merialau?
ఉన్నారు.
Unaru.
Yes, absolutely. Can you repeat? మీరు ఎలా ఉన్నారు?
Merialau Unaru.
Yes, absolutely. That's how
Hi.
we ask it casually when we meet somebody else for the first time, or maybe a familiar faces also visit the మీరు ఎలా ఉన్నారు? And we say that మేము
Merialau
బాగున్నాము.
Unaru.
Yes,
Mhm.
మేము బాగున్నాము. మేము బాగున్నాము.
Mere?
మేము బాగున్నాము.
Me Bawul now
Yes, మేము బాగున్నాము.
means I'm good, right?
Yeah, మేము బాగున్నాము.
Mim Bawul now.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, great job.
That's great.
Great job. You have learned 2 phrases.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, may I request you to introduce 2 phrases that you use in your region?
Oh yes, of course. I would say a phrase to say, nice to meet you. Forsa Saida. Forsa.
Fursa Sainda.
Yes, excellent. Forsa
Fursa.
Saida means it's nice. Yes, nice to meet you. And to reply to that, I mean, it means literally, it translates to it was a great happening or a coincidence to meet you. And to reply to it, you would say Ana Asad.
Ana Asad.
Yes.
Ana
So
Asad.
yes, excellent. That's the one.
Thank you.
Forsa Saida.
Fursa
Ana
Saida.
Asad.
Ana Asad.
Ana Asad.
Ana
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, that's great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So may I request you to take a virtual tour of your home if you don't mind?
I'm trying to. Excuse me. I'm trying to flip the camera, but I can't find the.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll just use the video.
Oh,
I don't know if you can see it.
yeah, we can see. So, wow. You
Yeah.
are so 16th floor. Am I right?
Yes.
Oh,
As you
great.
can see, the
Yeah,
Egyptian Egyptian houses are
yes.
a bit full of
Mm.
ACs because of the heat here. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yes.
Then
And before I take you outside my home, so may I request you to give a message to my students?
give a message. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so first off, thank you so much for your warm welcome, and I appreciate your questions. I can tell, first off, you are lucky to have a teacher like Mr. Harry. This is one. And number two, I am glad to meet you. I hope you have a lovely learning experience. I hope you have fun. you learn and to enjoy whatever you want to become in the future. I hope you become what you want to be. And I hope English to help you in that. Thank you.